board meeting of the Public Works and Safety Department, City of Westfield. I'd like to call the meeting to order at 1 o'clock, 1:02, and start by acknowledging a quorum.
Mayor Cook,
Here.
Larry Clarino,
Here.
Jim Ake.
Here.
We do have a quorum.
Thank you very much. And we have legal on the line, I believe, so we'll get started. First item for discussion is the approval of the minutes from April 26, 2023. Do I have a motion?
I'll make the motion, we approve the minutes of April 26th, 2023.
Is there a second?
Second.
All right. Any further discussion? All right, I move, so I ask for approval of the minutes as stated from the April 26th meeting. All those approving the minutes as stated signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Motion carries. Minutes are approved. Jonathan Nail, are you online?
Yes, sir, I am.
Okay. I understand I got an email from you, so there is a change or action item number 2. It's my understanding is not ready. Is that correct?
That's correct. I request that we table this to the June meeting.
All right, thank you. I would request that we, somebody make a motion to table action item number 2.
I'll make a motion, we table action number 2, joint use of maintenance agreement for US 31 totem and signage.
I'll second that. All those in favor of tabling this item number 2 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
So action item number 2 is tabled. Action item number 3, signing authority, Midland Trace Trail and 156th Street Trail Connectors Project. Signing authority. Jonathan, is this yours?
It is, yes. So this is actually 2 projects, both trail projects. The first one's 156th Street Trail Connection, which fills a trail gap from US 31 east to Westfield Boulevard and then down Westfield Boulevard to the bridge for US 31 over Westfield Boulevard, there around the Cool Creek Park area. And the second one is the Midland Trail Gaps Project, which fills the Midland Trace Trail gaps from US 31 to the Monon, 175th Street past the post office, and then from Dartown to Austrian Pine, 2 gaps in that area. I'm requesting a signing authority for this. We're actually opening bids today, and rather than waiting till June to get your approval for the contract, provided that the bids are under our engineer's estimate plus some contingency, I'm asking that I have the ability to sign those contracts and get the contractor started about a month earlier than if we'd have to wait for Board of Public Works in June. The not to exceed on both of these is a total of $762,289.
I like the 700 or whatever you started with. Okay, very good. Any discussion? I'd entertain a motion to approve action item number 3.
So moved.
I'll second. All those in favor of approving action item number 3, signing authority, signify by saying aye. Aye. Motion carries 3-0. Thank you. Action item number 4, road impact fee credit agreement amendment for Spring Mill Center. Jonathan?
Yes, so this is for the Spring Mill Center development at the northeast corner of 32 and Spring Mill Road. We entered into a RIF credit agreement back in 2021 to include road impact fee credits for the construction of Tournament Trail and the State Road 32 Greenway Trail per the State Road 32 overlay. Since then, we've also, this is an amendment to that original agreement to increase that credit amount by $417,595 to account for a connection for what's going to be known as Shelby Street, which is a north-south connection from State Road 32 up to Tournament Trail. The impetus for this amendment is really out of fairness. We also credited Meyer across the street for their north-south connection, and in fairness to all of our developers, felt like we needed to treat it the same as Meyer. And so this is an increase for road impact fee credits, and it will be in the amount of the actual construction cost of that roadway. happy to take any questions.
I have a question because what I was looking at, it made reference to Exhibit C replacing Exhibit B, and it may have been a mislabel. I'm not sure. Can you explain
So
that?
Exhibit C, Exhibit C should be a schematic showing 32 in Spring Mill with some orange, green, and blue, I believe, highlights illustrating the actual improvements to be done. And the difference between the original schematic and this amendment is just the addition of that Shelby Street portion.
Yeah, I think that's still labeled B though. Where it's,
Okay.
yeah, so, okay, the answer,
I guess I would request pending that correction to the exhibit label, I would ask for approval.
okay, thank you. Any other questions? Larry?
Just a lot, it seems like a lot of money, is it? I mean, how does this compare to, are our costs in line here?
Yeah, we have reviewed the engineer's estimate that was provided. We actually had a little bit of back and forth, but we feel like the number is very representative of the actual costs. However, if those costs, the developer will submit the actual contractor costs. If those are lower, we'll just credit the lower amount.
What kind of oversight do we have over the contractors on something like this?
So we inspect the infrastructure installed, and we don't provide any credits until we have approved the infrastructure in the field and that it has met our construction standards. So our inspection team is responsible for verifying the work being done. We also work with the developer to provide really open book accounting of the credits that they'll be receiving.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions?
I'll move to accept the amendment to the RIF.
I'll second.
And your amendment would include the change in reference to Exhibit C.
Yes.
All those in favor of approving action item 4 with the correction to labeling the schematic Exhibit C, signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Action item number 4 is approved, 3-0. Item number 5, Wheeler Farms LLC and City of Westfield Wheeler Landing Regional Detention Pond Maintenance Agreement.
Yeah, so with the Wheeler Landing development, if you drive up the new Grand Park Boulevard, on the west side, you'll see a very large regional detention pond that was constructed as part of the Wheeler Landing development. This regional detention pond actually helped the city complete an agreement that we had entered into with the county surveyor's office related to the trails project from a few years ago. As part of that plan, we had always anticipated with the Wheeler Landing developers that the city would take ownership and maintenance of that regional detention pond because it is a city asset and because it is completing an agreement that the city entered into previously. So this is just a document to codify that agreement to show the city is taking ownership and maintenance responsibilities of that regional detention pond. Happy to take any questions.
Any questions? I make a motion to approve item number 5, Wheeler Farms LLC and City of Westfield. All those in favor signify by saying aye, or I need a second, excuse me.
I'll second.
Got a second from Larry. All those in favor of approving action item number 5 signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Action item number 5 stands, is passed, 3-0. Consent agenda. There are some questions, I think, from us regarding some of the items on the consent agenda. Joel? Good afternoon.
Trying to figure out if this is on. Yep, it's on. Okay, so the document has 56 HK VP9s, which is actually our duty guns, for disposal. We're trying to take advantage of an opportunity we have to trade them for what is actually the same model of gun, HK VP9, but they're brand new. So the agreement was we are able to purchase the same gun for $449 per gun. I know there's some questions as how much we were going to spend on that. So each gun would be $449, but with that, they changed the mags. It's a 15 round capacity on the current mags. It'll go to 17. And also, it's an upgrade in the night sights that are on the gun. So we'll get same gun, 40 for $449 per gun. So the actual total cost for us is around $5,700 in the trade-in. So with that, we're kicking the can, so to speak, probably 6 or 7 years onto how long we would have had to, to purchase the weapons. So the guns that we're trading in are about 6, 7 years old. They're in decent shape, but we'd probably be looking to trade them in, 5 years from now, something like that. So we can kind of kick the can for basically $100 a gun.
Does that include new mags too?
It does. Like I said, with the 17 round capacity rather than 15.
That's what, 2 mags per gun?
3.
3, okay. I tell you, that's one heck of a deal that you cut. It really is, because currently the VP9s on the used market are right around $350 at retail. So, I mean, to cut a deal like this, I think is absolutely fabulous. I definitely in support of this.
Thank you. The other thing I think you had questions on is the actual supplier. So H&K make us use a Precision Arms, I think is the name of it, is the only dealer that they will recognize within this region.
Gotcha.
So that's why we have to use them.
It's still a phenomenal deal.
It really is.
Replacing what, 50, I think it was 56 handguns?
Right.
Very good. I don't have any questions, further questions. Thank you, Joel.
Yep.
All right. Any other questions on the consent agenda? If not, I'd entertain a motion.
So moved.
I'll second.
All those in favor of approving the consent agenda as stated signify by saying aye. Aye. Consent agenda is approved. Department reports. Fire. Hey, Chief.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Here in place of Chief Gabler, obviously, had to take the day off, so asked me to present.
You look younger than he does.
Not quite, but I wish. As we go through our, do I control? Yeah, okay. Our April run, you see we have a total of 388 runs total for April. Majority of this coming out of Station 81. Just nothing extraordinary as far as that goes. The districts that made the runs, as you can see, the Station 1, District 81, we had, compared to this time last year, had a few less runs, where the other 2 stations were a little bit more than last year. So, but overall, the total runs were up over last year by 14, which is just under 4% runs. So we're continuing to increase our run load based on the previous year at the same time. Types of runs, I can say there's nothing extraordinary. They're all about the same percentages basically on what we've had before. We had the residential alarms, commercial alarms are pretty much standard. Nothing that stood out on any of those. Mutual aid with EMS, you can see those were up quite a bit based off the same month last year. As far as mutual aid received, and the number received on EMS is the number of times an ambulance comes in and takes a run in our community, whether it be Noblesville, Sheridan, or Carmel. And Carmel making the majority of those. That will be remedied later this year in the end of third quarter, first of the fourth quarter, with putting the new ambulance in service, new Medic 3 in service. So that'll run out of Station 83 over here on Grassy Branch. It's taking, we'll have the ambulance back from the one that was crashed back in December 2021. That's finally going to come back in July, refurbished, new chassis and everything taken care of. So that will be the new Medic 83 that we will have in service. It's taking a while after that to get it. These new guys that are in recruit class right now are recruits. They'll finish up in August and then have time for their field training, so where they'll ride third out ambulance and with their field training officers and kind of acclimate to the area, how things are done on our trucks and so forth. And we need to give that a couple months. We're probably looking at October before we put that ambulance in service. We need those people to come on board before that ambulance in service. That way we're not depleting our resources on another piece of apparatus to put that in service. So that's why it's taking so long. But yet this year, we'll be able to take care of our own citizens better, and that'll eliminate that need to pull the resources from our neighboring communities. As our run load goes up, their run load's going up as well. So we're kind of, hamstringing them just a little bit at some point in time, and trying to beat it to the point where they come to us and say, we have a problem, we cannot, we don't have an ambulance to come there neither. So it's kind of the plan with that. We gave more mutual aid on fire incidents. That means we ran to Carmel, Noblesville, or Sheridan, then they came to us. So that's they're relying on our resources in those situations. We're relying on them more on EMS, and they're relying on us for fire situations. So we're kind of trading off there a little bit.
Is there any billing involved with the mutual aid, or is that?
Not on the fire side. On the EMS side, there is billing. We bill for EMS runs when we transport someone. Mm-hmm. So the times whenever we receive mutual aid from our neighboring departments, where we usually bill, they'll actually bill because the transporting unit bills. So those units coming into town and taking those runs for us, they'll transport, they'll bill for that service. So you look at it in a business aspect, we're kind of losing money every time they come in and transport for us that go towards our revenue stream for our budget. Our care facilities, I know there's always concern over this, how many times we go to care facility. Bridgewater was up quite a bit in April, and the rest of them were pretty much the norm. So, and that's it for the report on the incidents. The other report is the new fire station. We had the owners meeting yesterday. It's moving along very well. It seemed like for a while it kind of came to a little bit of a standstill, waiting on some things. The sanitary sewer we've been talking about for some time. They're planning on May 30th approximately is starting that project, so it'll take a week or so to complete that and get that everything hooked up. Get the water hooked up then, and it's got to sit for 30 days before it actually we can utilize that. So within the owners meeting, they also said they would like for the administration to move in the end of June, which more realistically we're thinking July, and then the firefighters and the fire apparatus move in towards the end of July, and we're thinking probably a month out from that. So I think try to be an optimist, but this time being more of a realist that that's when it'll actually take place.
Is the generator, I know there was a holdup with the
July.
backup generator?
Yeah, still July, mid-July, what we're looking at on that to have that in place. And that's part of the issue with waiting to get that in and tested and so forth. So
did the electrical panels
it
come in
yes,
finally?
it arrived. There's a
Good.
some other segment of the that switches the generator from house to generator. I think the ATS, I believe is what it's called. Should be arriving within the next week. That was one of the things that was going to be held up till the end of June, and it's already going to be here. So, there's potential that the generator could arrive sooner, but realistically, I think we're still just a couple months out anyway from seeing things. They're pouring concrete all around the building. A lot of concrete work going on. So it's moving along real well, looking really good. Any questions you gentlemen have?
I have none.
Thank you,
Good
Chief.
job.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Chief. All right, police, Joel?
Hello again. Just a couple things, really. We had our first out of our 3 new hires this year start Monday. Adrian Alvarez, he's starting his onboard. It'll take a couple weeks, and then he'll start FTO. The other 2 will start June 19th, and then that'll complete our new hires. Unfortunately, we plan on losing 3. So we have to replace them. We started a new process last month. Unfortunately, we've only gotten about 23, 24 applications in for those jobs, and it was a full process. So we have laterals and new, but we've only received 24 applications. So we'll see what we can do with that. We're looking through it, trying to figure it out. It's a nationwide problem right now. People just aren't getting into the police service. Locally, we're fighting for the same people. So I'm going to plan on embedding money into the 24 budget to try to use as discretionary funds throughout our salary lines to recruit and retain people, try to get ourselves more competitive with those around us. So we'll see how that goes. But other than that, that's all I've got.
Any questions for Chief?
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, thank you. Public Works.
Yeah, so not too many updates. One big thing is on the NDOT project, State Road 32 over Cool Creek. That closure, as it stands right now, is set to start July 5th to August 18th. They're looking to maybe shave about a week of that off, make sure they get done before school's open. I will keep you all posted as that schedule changes or does not change, but that is the current plan. We are communicating that with all of our constituents via the 32 Connects website, as well as NDOT's resources and our social media accounts. So it'll be it'll be a pain, I would say, for 45 days. Official detour route, as a reminder, is US 31 to State Road 38 to Hazeldale to avoid some of the additional construction in Noblesville. So that is the official detour route. I'm sure that our local folks will probably use 161st Street as well as 171st Street to get around that closure. Our 32 through downtown project continues moving forward, and we should be seeing some building demolition starting in middle of June. There's a little bit of a snag with some paperwork from the contractor. They've got that squared away, so you'll start seeing buildings come down fairly soon. And 161st and Oak remains on track. A lot of utility relocations that are ongoing. Duke is now clear and out of the way. And some of the comms utilities are moving now as we speak. So that's great progress for that project, and still on schedule for a closure starting August 28th on 161 Oak. We'll do that right after 32 opens back up following the NDOT project. So a lot of coordination with NDOT to make sure we have a good east-west corridor through Westfield throughout the summer. So happy to take any questions if I skipped over something or if you have specific questions about Public Works.
Any questions?
One quickie, I think you and Chris met with Tom Lennon on his little turf project and some of the roundabouts with the herbicides. How did that go?
Went really well. Obviously, Tom's a great resource in our community, very knowledgeable with his lawn care chemicals. He did a trial run at 2 different roundabouts. The chemicals he was using were very effective, and he did provide a schedule of treatments for us. We're reviewing that now, and it really come down to a cost item. We're working with our contractor to see if we can implement some or all of that treatment plan. And we'll get some cost items and some numbers back and make a decision from there. But really appreciate his efforts. Clearly a very knowledgeable person when it comes to lawn care and some of the treatment options out there.
And by the way, that citizen, he's treating a few of the roundabouts at no cost to the city right now as a test on this, and I think that's really terrific. So,
That's correct, yeah. Can't thank them enough.
thank you.
All right. Any other questions? That concludes our agenda. I'd entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We stand adjourned. Thank you, everyone.
The neat thing about these chemicals.